VW Taos vs Audi Q3. Which crossover comes out on top? The consumer demand for crossovers and SUVs right now seems endless, and manufacturers are scrambling to take full advantage of that. VW's latest effort is the brand new Taos, which slots in under the excellent compact Tiguan crossover. It takes design cues from the larger VW Atlas and uses a new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine connected with an AWD drivetrain. Volkswagen has also made sure that the Taos is very affordably priced, to the point where it's quite a bargain for what buyers get. It's such good value, in the fact that it might tempt buyers away from VW Group's more upmarket offerings like the Audi Q3. Sure, the Q3 is traditionally seen as a more premium vehicle and it carries a prestigious Audi badge, but strip those assumptions away and the Taos actually looks like a bit of a dark horse. It's built on the same platform as the Q3, yet it offers many comparable features for a significantly cheaper price. Let's break down the two crossovers into their key specs and see how they stack up against each other. 8. Pricing. One of the biggest differences between the two cars is how much more expensive the Audi Q3 is compared to the Taos. That's to be expected, of course, as Audi traditionally caters to a different clientele to VW and they price their cars accordingly. The Q3 starts at $35,995 and rises to $41,595 for the top-spec S-Line Premium Plus model. In comparison, the Taos starts at a bargain price of $24,190 and asks $32,685 for the most expensive model. That means a top-spec Taos with a few optional extras is roughly on par with a base-spec Q3 in terms of cost. 7. Performance. Both cars use a turbo 4-cylinder engine, with the regular Q3 making 184 horsepower and the Taos making 158 horsepower. However, some reviewers have noted that the Q3 suffers from turbo lag, meaning it's not as quick off the mark as many of its similar premium rivals. The Taos doesn't have official performance figures yet, but, likely, it won't match the Q3 on paper. In reality, though, both crossovers will be mostly used for commutes and grocery runs, meaning that the 26 horsepower difference is unlikely to be noticeable. Plus, Car and Driver tested the Taos and praised its thrust at everyday speeds, so no turbo lag there. 6. Handling. Crossovers of this nature need to balance comfort and dynamics, to strike the balance between being engaging for the driver and being pleasant for passengers. Both the Q3 and Taos do this well, with driving dynamics that are good but not exceptional in either case. In terms of comfort, the Taos has a competent suspension setup that's likely to match the Audi around town. One weak spot for the Taos, however, is its transmission, which isn't as smooth as the Q3's when dealing with heavier acceleration. It's also a little clunkier in start-stop situations, and so the Q3 wins here. 5. Economy. The Taos is definitely the penny pincher's choice of crossover, as its fuel consumption is one of the best of any crossovers of its size. The EPA rates it at 28 mpg city and 36 mpg highway, and Car and Driver's test car even achieved 40 mpg on their highway route. The Q3 in comparison only manages to get 23 mpg city and 30 mpg highway with its 4-cylinder engine. This is probably in part due to the Q3's heavier curb weight of 3,916 pounds, whereas the Taos only weighs 3,175 pounds. Either way, the Q3 can't match up to the Taos on fuel consumption. 4. Style. Both cars have tried to ape their bigger siblings in terms of styling, with the Taos copying the Atlas design cues and the Q3 taking inspiration from the Q5 and Q7. The Audi is probably the better looking of the two, although neither will stand out much in a queue of traffic. Really, there isn't much to pick between the Taos and Q3 if you ignore the badge on the front of each. It is worth noting though that the Q3 has a slightly more sporting appearance thanks to its sloping rear end, whereas the Taos look is more utilitarian. 3. Features. Both cars offer their respective manufacturers in-house infotainment systems, with an 8.8-inch screen as standard for the Q3 and a 6.5-inch screen for the Taos. Both of those screens can be upgraded to be 10.1 and 8.0 inches respectively. Each car can also be spec'd with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and there are optional speaker systems for maximum audio enjoyment. The Q3 offers a system from Bang & Olufsen, and Beats Audio provides the optional setup in the Taos. Neither car is lacking in safety features either, as both come with things such as lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control. In fact, the features sheets of the Q3 and the Taos are remarkably similar, given that the Q3 is supposedly a more upmarket vehicle. 2. Interior. Comparing the interior of the two cars is where the biggest differences become apparent. Audi's design department has worked their magic on the Q3, and it's a much nicer looking place to be in, not to mention the difference in the materials used. The Q3 comes with leather upholstery as standard and patterned microsuede on the dash and doors, whereas the Taos has to make do with some hard plastics and optional leather seats. Even so, many of the Q3's niceties are also available as options on the Taos, including the ambient lighting package and 8-way adjustable front seats. 1. Practicality. There's nothing remarkable about the Q3's practicality, as it's average for its segment in terms of rear headroom, trunk space, and storage. The Taos, however, has a trick up its sleeve, namely how much space there is in its trunk. For a small crossover, it's huge, with 790 liters available in FWD models and 705 liters in AWD ones. Its high roofline also means that there's more room in the rear seats for adults than buyers might think, and significantly more than in the Q3. The Taos certainly wins on practicality, but does it offer enough all-round to convince buyers away from a Q3? The answer is quite possibly, as if buyers don't mind the less prestigious badge, the Taos is a surprisingly competitive offering for considerably less money.